At the Xbox Games Showcase Extended, we learned way more about Avowed, Lies of P, and Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, and we even heard a thing or two about some brand new games. So here's all the juicy new information about those new Xbox games. Obsidian's first-person action RPG was one of the stars of this year's showcase, and thanks to the extended edition, we now know even more about it. Avowed takes place in the Living Lands, a remote region of the fantasy realm Eora. The game's world is set up as a series of interconnected open areas and will be roughly the same size as that of the Outer Worlds or Knights of the Old Republic 2. And while Eora is the same world that the Pillars of Eternity games take place in, Avowed is very much its own thing, so do not worry, you don't have to play those games as well to know what's going on, though I would highly recommend it. That said, returning fans will see a few familiar faces amongst the new game's cast of characters, and if you do want to catch up first, which I did say you should absolutely do, both Pillars of Eternity games are currently available on Xbox and PC Game Pass. Of course, there will also be plenty of other new characters, like Kai, the blue fellow we met in Avowed's new trailer. He's a battle-hardened soldier who is not to be trifled with, though apparently he does have a good sense of humour, so that helps.
People don't like you very much, do they?
When it comes to the player character, we learned that they are an envoy of the Adair Empire, who has been sent to investigate the mysterious soul plague that has been devouring the living lands. So they've got some political cash, as well as their own unique soul connection to the world that links them to the strange forces at work in this region. It's no wonder Kai seems a bit anxious about them. Finally, although we've switched to a first-person perspective, players can expect to find all of the depth and variety to the game's combat system that the Pillars games had. So whether you want to dual-wield pistols or send fireballs from your fingertips, there will be plenty of room to fine-tune your personal build.
And talking of builds, Exoprimal is a third-person shooter that answers the age-old question, you know which one. Who would win in a fight? You in a hyper-advanced mech suit or a Tyrannosaurus? Well, the extended showcase gave us a look at some more of the exosuit variants players will be able to dress up in when they go dino fighting, each with their own unique abilities. We also got our first look at a co-op mode called Savage Gauntlet, which sees our exo fighters taking on PvE missions in teams of 5, racing against other teams around the world to record the fastest completion time. It all looks quite absurd and absurdly fun, and Exoprimal will be coming straight to Game Pass on July 14th with an open beta between the 15th and 17th of June. Mark it in your calendar.
Thanks to the free demo and our own tips video in the top corner there, players have already had the chance to get pretty familiar with the stylish new Pinocchio-inspired Souls-like Lies of P. But didn't that all just make you want to learn even more about it? In our latest look at Lies of P, we got to find out even more about P's Legion arm, the various monsters he'll be facing off against, and the spectres you can summon to help you out when things get tough. And it won't just be your combat skills that are put to the test when Lies of P lands on Game Pass on September 19th. It'll also be your conscience. Will you lie to the characters you meet to spare their feelings? Or is honesty always the best policy? Whatever you pick, expect to see your choices ripple out through the world in all sorts of ways.
Now, the team behind Spiritfarer are back with something equally gorgeous but a lot less tranquil, but still, at least it's not full of lying puppets, is it, Bex? 33 Immortals is a multiplayer dungeon raiding game inspired by Dante's Divine Comedy. But you won't be raiding these dungeons in teams of 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or any other number. You're actually going to be teaming up specifically with 32 other players for a totally unique multiplayer experience. It looks like an exciting change of pace for Thunder Lotus and an incredibly cool new spin on the roguelike format, and 33 Immortals will again be coming straight to Xbox and PC Game Pass. And hey, Phil Spencer seemed to enjoy it. What greatest stamp of approval is there? He's a gamer after all.
We also got a look at the 10 brand new indie titles that Idea Xbox will be bringing to Game Pass. With everything from the crustacean souls like Another Crab's Treasure to the enchantingly old school Sea of Stars. This eclectic range of titles will add even more variety to the Game Pass library, letting players explore the depths of the sea, look after ailing aliens, or even just romp around as a mischievous urban feline. There really is something for everyone. Having already scared the wits out of PC players, the 4-player horror game Phasmophobia will be heading to Xbox Series X and S this August. There's been some paranormal activity in this house, but rather than use it to create a massively successful found footage movie franchise, you and your buddies will be teaming up to investigate the true source of all this strangeness. work together to explore and gather evidence using the most advanced line of ghost hunting technology.
Up next is the first Descendant, a third-person looter shooter which has been built using the Unreal 5 engine and looks absolutely sublime if you ask me. Here players will get to take their pick from a roster of deadly Descendants, all of whom are boasting some very nifty high-tech gear. They can then tag in up to 3 other players for some co-op, combining their abilities tactically to help take down the game's towering bosses. Best of all, the first Descendant will be totally free to play and will feature full crossplay between Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One and PC. The game is currently eyeing up a 2023 release, and you can even give it a try firsthand with the crossplay beta, which has been scheduled for August 22nd until August 28th.
We also learned more about the Lamplighters League, a pulpy tactical adventure from the creators of the Shadowrun Return series and Battletech. In this alternate version of the 1930s, nothing is quite as it seems. There are conspiracies and cults in every shadow. So you and your gang of misfits will have to travel the world, setting things right. You're not the best team for the job, but you're the best one that was available, so you'll have to do. Whatever happens, get ready for one heck of an adventure on October 3rd when the Lamplighters League comes to Xbox Series X and S as a Day 1 Game Pass release.
Oh, I love this one. Towerborne was one of the new games announced during Xbox Showcase, and now we've had a chance to take an even closer look at this intriguing 2.5D action RPG. Coming Day 1 to Game Pass, Towerborne puts a big emphasis on co-op, allowing players to team up both online and on the couch. This basic game loop will see them heading out into the world, kicking some ass through the game's fast, fluid combat system, and then taking all the resources they've scooped up back home to build some more powerful gear. Oh, and back home here means to go to a gorgeous big windmill called the Belfry, which is quite darling. And the developers even have big plans for the future too. Towerborne will be a seasonal game with new storylines, gear, quests, biomes, and bosses continuing to arrive.
Imagine Super Monkey Ball, but much more heavily armed, and you'll have a reasonably good picture of Go Mecha Ball. In this chaotic roguelite, players can switch rapidly between 2 forms, a formidable gun-toting mech and an agile rolling ball. Expect plenty of explosive action, tons of different weapons, and a whole lot of rolling when Go Mecha Ball comes exclusively to PC and Xbox in the early part of next year.
Now, as well as those dazzling games back there, we also got a good look at some of the awesome updates that are on their way, including one I know pretty much everyone is excited about. We got a in-depth look at Cyberpunk 2077's massive upcoming expansion, with both quest director Paweł Sesko and the Matrix breaking, dog-avenging, excellent adventure and all-star Keanu Reeves turning up to tell us more about it. Phantom Liberty will take us to a new part of Night City called Dogtown, which is pretty much the definition of a bad neighborhood if you ask me. Here the player will find a thriving black market, the ideal place to pick up a new weapon or piece of cyberware, including unique items you won't find anywhere else. These are some of the most powerful bits of gear in the game, but as I said, it is the black market, so they're also kind of volatile. Use them carefully, please. You likely won't have to wait long to try and use that gear out either, since Dogtown lies outside of any official police jurisdiction. Break the rules here and you're going to get chased down by the Barghest militia, and these guys really don't mess around, trust me. Project Red have completely overhauled the police system to make their reactions more dynamic and more diverse, so don't expect any easy getaways here. We also learned a little bit more about Idris Elba's new character, Solomon Reed. Like Johnny Silverhand, Solomon is someone who's been cast aside by the powers that be, and it seems like he might be holding just a tiny little bit of a grudge over the whole thing, but I'm sure he'll deal with it very peacefully, unlike Bex, this next game you got over there.
And Cyberpunk 2077 isn't the only title with some exciting new content coming its way. The trippy first-person shooter High on Life has a horror-themed new chapter coming called High on Knife. It looks about as stomach-churning as you'd expect and features a new talking gun called Harper, voiced by Saturday Night Live's Sarah Sherman. While you're waiting for this chilling new tale, you can check out the base game now on Xbox and PC Game Pass.
Fallout 76 is also getting in on the action with a spooky free new update called Once in a Blue Moon, which will be lighting up the skies on June 20th. There are a pair of new cryptids roaming around Appalachia, known locally as the Blue Devil and Ooga, as well as a pair of new public events for players to get stuck into. So really, just a few more things you can add to the list of reasons to check out Fallout 76, available now on PC and Xbox Game Pass. And if you're still not over that Hi-Fi Rush vibe, then have no fear, because the world's most radical rhythm action game is getting 2 brand new game modes. BPM Rush is a turbo mode which lets you crank the beat up higher and higher by defeating enemies until we're in a full-blown dubstep looking territory. And then there's Power Up Tower Up, which saps Chai of his abilities and makes him battle to earn them back. Both new modes will be arriving for free on July 5th, so grab Hi-Fi Rush off Game Pass now and get to strumming.
Dune Part 2 looks set to be one of the biggest movies of the year, and Microsoft Flight Simulator players will be able to get their hands on some of its space-age technology with this new expansion. Arriving as a free update on November 3rd, the very same day as the movie itself, the Dune update will bring iconic vehicles like the Ornithopter to the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is available now on Xbox and PC Game Pass. Our list of reasons to be excited about Xbox just got even more extensive. What about yours? Hit the comments to let us know which games you're most looking forward to. Bye!